Alright guys, welcome indeed back to another build of Monarchs, which is what I wanted to go ahead and title this video, that no one really is playing. So this is ZArc Monarchs. It actually started getting a little bit of hype when it first was kind of announced that the cards came out, and it was kind of popular. But since the new Monarchs, most people don't play any cards in the extra deck. This is a completely different version. You're seeing the Dragonoid generator over here. So it's Monarchs with an extra deck. So he's going to go ahead and pay some life points, get some tokens. But the main goal of it is to search out ZArc, the Mega Monarch, which allows you to have this awesome ability to go ahead and destroy itself, and then be able to pop a bunch of your cards and send them all to the graveyard for your effect of the ZArc to go ahead and be summoned. Now ZArc is a super boss monster, and there's other ways to go ahead and play the deck, but that's like the main focus of like this build. As I recently did cover, and if you guys want like a more traditional Monarch build that's using the new Banlist, I will also pin it down below. But this is another build that's completely different that I did want to go ahead and cover. So he's got some tokens over here, not that it's gonna like really be that much of a downside, but Rafflesia is going to go ahead and activate its effect, going for that Miracle Synchro Fusion. But with this card over here, it also does give, it says during the end phase, your opponent special summons one Dragonoid token over there. And so this is going to actually go away, but he's not really making much sense of getting rid of that now. But he's going to go ahead and activate the Wind Pegasus at Ignister over here. So, if another card you control is destroyed by battle by opponent's card effect while it's in the field of gravity, you can banish it and target one card your opponent controls and then shuffle it right back into the deck. So that can be kind of useful sometimes, depending on when something goes away. But it's just another free extra potential card. You also have the Elder Entity in Chest. That's another great target for this. But he's going to go ahead and attack from some small damage, Machina Aerator coming out. But turn 1, the 1 day at peace was indeed activated. So he doesn't really need to go for anything now. I'm thinking that he might have just wasted this card. I think he could have benefited more off of just keeping it. I feel like Feather Duster was kind of also wasted. Maybe he activated it and realized, wait, I can't go for a game, and he didn't push, because I think this is a meh effect right here. But we'll have to wait and see. Because if this Miracle Synchro Fusion does go off, it's pretty much game over, as ZArc will come out, and that is just going to wreck everything. It's a super boss monster deck. I wonder why Machina is not playing an extra deck. I can't think of any reason off the top of my head. Oh, he's gotten Solemn Striked. Or, sorry, Solemn Warninged. So, none of that going through. Oh, he's got another one. Don't worry about it. Don't count a boy out yet. But he's going to go ahead and also activate that effect of Aerator. Not that it matters, because, yeah, going into Colonel isn't going to be helping out at all. As this is like one of those super boss monsters, is like, I'm immune to everything, and it's game over. So let's go ahead and see that. So he's going to go ahead and go for Possess Storage over here. So if it's no more special, you get to target a Machina in your graveyard and special summon in defense position. It can't activate its effect this turn. So maybe he's just going to try to defense up. I really don't know, because this card is literally blowing up everything anyways. Which is pretty big. Yeah, you could also summon the Naturia Fusion off of this card, which basically says no spells, no traps. But this is like the more go-to card. He's going to go ahead and activate Overdrive, which is going to get him Colonel. But again, what's the point of Colonel when you're activating this? I guess you could just have Colonel be in the grave, maybe for a setup later. I really feel like it's difficult for this deck, unless they have Limit Rule. That's like the one out that I can think of. But yeah, once it comes out, it destroys all cards, and then your opponent can't, all cards your opponent controls, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent can't target it with card effects. On the top of it, when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you get to special summon one Supreme King Dragon monster from your deck or extra deck. If this card is in the monster zone is destroyed by battle by card effect, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone over here. And then the Pendulum Zone effect is Fusion Secret and Exceed monsters your opponent controls cannot activate their effects. So it's super shutting down the extra deck mechanic. I literally said Liminal was his only out, and the guy is a legend. Dude, Senbon Zakura coming back over here against player 1. And I like this build of Monarch. It's actually pretty decent. But anyways, he doesn't even have an extra deck. I again don't know if there's anything that matters with the extra deck, but during the end phase it does pop the monster. I can't believe he actually pulled it off, because I thought that was kind of a bad play. But maybe he was just setting up so it'd be in the grave for later. I really don't know. I just think it was strange. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and see how this plays out. So Fossil Warrior Skull Knight is going to go ahead and activate its effect. You can banish it over here and then target one monster in the field and pop it. But remember, this card, it will always come back as long as there's another machine that is destroyed. If a face-up machine monster you control is destroyed by card effect while it's in your graveyard, it's coming right back. And on top of that, yo, is Machina coming back? This is going to be actually pretty funny. Did not expect that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if he only had that Naturia card, he would be able to negate that limiter, right? But remember, he's still playing Monarchs. It's halfway cheesy. Yeah, you lose out on some of the other, what's the other card? It's the one where there's a bunch of fire in the background, but like you have to control a attributed monster. And there's also, I believe, Domain. There's a lot of cards that like you want no extract for Monarchs. But the thing is you can just pop all your cards. So he's going to go ahead and get that effect over there. And he's revealing his entire hand. And he's going to go ahead and pop it. Citadel, or Machina, yeah. Did they change it to Citadel? Oh, his name used to be Machina Colonel. I didn't even notice that they changed it. So anyways, this is actually going to be more of an interesting duel. I thought it was going to be a blowout. Once ZArc comes out, it's like game 90% of the time. But at least now you can see what happens when it's not there. He's going to go ahead and banish ZArc, dude. Unlucky, but like it doesn't even matter because you don't even have anything in your extra deck. But once per when a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase, you can destroy the card. So there is like another bonus effect. I mean, this card actually is amazing. In fact, the other guy was talking about how amazing this guy is. But like, yeah, again, like he definitely disrespected him with that play over there. But on top of that, I want to see him come back because this is so funny. The Monarch deck isn't super cheese, but if you've played Monarchs, you know what I'm talking about when you just brick. It's just how the deck is, unfortunately. But we're going to see the Upstart Goblin. He's healing up his opponent. He's got 2,000 life points, so now he's behind in life points. But don't sign him out yet, because all it takes is just one Monarch combo. Okay, so he's got Photon Sanctuary over here. This could lead up into... it's funny, it's like he can't even get rid of his opponent's other extra deck cards, because this card's a Borg. Oh, he's going to go for it. Wait. He had to go for Nibiru. What? Okay, I guess they're equal, right? Oh, unless he's got a Pacaro. Because that card, it says except for Citadel. So, he had to tribute for the Giant Rock, which, because they're like, oh, and then dude, he got sacked, dude. He straight up got sacked. And he gonna beat him down with his own card. Oh my gosh, dude, I hope he rematches him for game 3. Or I don't actually know what game that they're on. Dude, he had to surrender, dude. Dude, ZArc, dude, that was too good. Please give me another rematch. We need another one where you get to see the Monarchs and the ZArc interact, because it's not a bad, oh, it ended, he got upset about it. But I do happen to have one of the gameplays here, and I'll give you guys the deck profile as well. We'll do all this live. Like I said, ZArc Monarchs is actually pretty cool over here. One of the games, it was just Vanity's Ruler, so I didn't really think that one was good enough to save. It was just some Vanity's Ruler. This card's pretty good. It makes it so your opponent cannot special summon. You could still special summon. Oh, this guy's playing triple limiter. Dude, he straight up got sacked, dude. There's no better way to put it. So he's going to go ahead and lose out on Vanity's Ruler. Like I said, Vanity's Ruler, Vanity's Fiend, those cards are like, you summon it, you win sometimes. Like, there's not, if they don't happen to have like an impermanence. And if you're wondering why people play Vanity's Ruler and Vanity's Fiend, it's just because you have more consistency to summon that card. A lot of times with a Monarch card, you tribute, then you get to add it too late. You need it ASAP sometimes, and that's just, you know, the nature of this game. So he's going to go ahead and actually warning, no Eidos effect over here, but Idea is going to go ahead and be summoned. Then it's going to bring out the Eidos, and then this one's going to try to activate his effect, but he's going to go ahead and lose out on those cards. But here's the main play. So the Monarch stuff is not necessarily super bluff, but the Dragonoid Generator is going to give him those tokens, summoning Zaborg. Zaborg pops itself, goes right into Enchest, popping the Machina Citadel. Like I said, I'm so used to calling it Colonel. But then you go ahead and pass. Fleazy is going to go ahead and activate the effect. You're going to add the Miracle Synchrofusion. He's going to go ahead and banish Generator. I don't know why. It's kind of unnecessary. But he's going to go ahead and get some small amount of damage in. And he's lucky he didn't have like some huge plays. But there is also some other cards that you'll be able to activate. But ZArc pops everything. He's going to go ahead and summon the Citadel. He's going to go ahead and take that battle damage. And if that monster destroys something by battle, look what you get. You get Supreme Clearwing Dragon Clearwing. And at this point, though, like, this is most of the time, like, it's game over. Raigeki immune to that, but then he's going to go ahead and set limiter, which is obviously a bluff at this point. But I thought it was really cool to have, like, another build of Monarchs. I totally forgot about ZArc Monarchs, but, yeah, like I said, I think it's a really cool build. But for those of you guys that do want the deck profile, I'm going to go ahead and hit the export deck one. I love this feature with Yugioh Pro, especially when we do everything live over here. But this was his build, just in case any of you guys wanted to check it out. So like I said, a lot of people, I would have actually bumped up Vandy's Fiend to 3, but I guess his idea is to Vandy Ruler, or he's even going for Plasma, so he really wants your opponent to be not going for nothing here. But I feel like Vandy's Fiend is just a little bit easier to go ahead and pull off versus Vandy's Ruler, because this one obviously requires 2. But anyways, here's what he's got for his deck profile. So we got 3 Nibiru's, 2 copies of the Lightning Strike Kaiju, 3 copies of Zaborg, 3 copies of Vandy's Ruler, 1 Plasma, 2 copies of Vandy's Fiend, 2 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Eidos, 3 copies of Idea, and then, or Idea, and then we have 1-for-1 Raigeki, 3 copies of Photon Sanctuary, just gives you 2 tokens, so basically the same as this. Although this one gives your opponent 2 tokens, which I'm honestly not too much of a fan of, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Then we have Reinforcement of the Army. We have 1 Day at Peace. We got Pot of Desires at triple, and we have 2 copies of Miracle Synchro Fusion. And then we got the Upser Goblin, Called by the Grave, 2 copies of Stormforth, and 2 copies of Dragonoid Generator over here. Really interesting build. I think I've seen this deck before. I don't really remember, as this was like a long time ago when people started playing ZArc Monarchs. But at the end of the day, like, you're just really using Zabor. That's really the only Monarch, but that's what it's called. It's ZArc Monarchs. Although he's just playing this. The other build, I have seen people try to tech on the other Monarchs, specifically, obviously, there's only really, back in the day, Caius was like the OG Monarch, but he's not really playing that many. He's not even playing the Pantheism over here, as there's just really not that many other, like, Monarch cards, I guess, that you'd really want to get rid of. But this one lets you reveal and add any Monarch spell. It's only spell and trap. I don't know. I feel like you can maybe mix in some of these for extra draw power. But again, this deck can just be Brick City. But yeah, the Monarchs Erupt is the card I was talking about, and Domain, where like you have to have no cards in the extra deck. But obviously this one, you can go through it. I was even thinking maybe you can try to utilize Extravagance as... I mean, it is RNG in what you're hitting, but at the end of the day, you could just play multiple copies of every single one and just... start, I guess what I'm saying is maybe you just like 1 or 2 and just deplete the other rest of the extra deck, and then these cards could be live. But I think that's just, it's a little bit of RNG, but at the end of the day, if you're not getting it turn 1, I mean, if you can try to still play out the deck, it could be another option over here. But the only other Monarchs that people play pretty much at this point are just these 2. That would be like the only other option. And I don't know, I've seen people try Thestalos, but I'd say these are the only other cards that I could really recommend in case any of you guys did want to go ahead and mess around it. But for the extra deck, obviously, ZArc, we got the Starving Vending Fusion Dragon, Rafflesia, Fossil Warrior Knight, which lets you go ahead and banish, then you get to pop a card, which is quite nice. Got 2 copies of him, then 3 copies of Enchest, 1 copy of Crystal Wing, 1 copy of Odd Eyes, and then Supreme King and Dragon Clearing, which you guys actually got to see him actually summon. It got Raigeki, but we also have the Wind Pegasus at Ignister, which lets you go ahead and target a card and bounce it back. And then we have the Dark Rebellion and then Link Karibo over here just to round off the final monster. And it's just used for like that extra play. Really cool though, but I really wish we got to see that next game with him. I really wish he didn't get upset, because like the guy, okay, to be fair, that guy absolutely sacked him. Not only did he like have the Limiter Rule top deck, but then he crashed with the Nibiru, and then he top decks a Reborn. Those are just like those Yu-Gi-Oh stories where like your friends like, yo, how'd you do? Dude, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe I got sacked so hard, you know. And I like those kinds of Yu-Gi-Oh things. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the dual gameplay live, as well as the deck profile for ZArc Monarchs, as it's a completely different build and a different way to play it. But I want to know if you guys can make it more consistent over here, as I think that there could be some other cards to make it a little bit more consistent. But yeah, once this card comes out, it's game most of the time. No one's going to be really attacking over. And on top of that, remember, once they get rid of it, you get to negate all of their stuff in the extra deck, except for like Link monsters, pretty much. Which, I guess, for some decks, that's a huge deal. Some other decks, well, they're just going to make a Link monster and rip the game anyways. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you're new here, subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss out on more Yu-Gi-Oh and other gameplays. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.